Hello, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because this actually arrived earlier than expected. I got the new Adept palette in the mail. I did purchase this myself. This is a pretty pricey palette. This is the Adept Cosmetics Cyborg Choir Palette. This retails for $79, which is quite pricey. I did get a 20% off coupon in my email newsletter from Adept, so personally for me I did pay a little less for this palette. Let me see if I can find my details. Not me not being able to find the fucking order though.
2 hours later.
Here we go. That took me forever. I saved a little bit of money. I saved $15.80 and that brought it to $64.70, but then I had to pay $10 shipping, which I'm fine with because Adept shipping is always very well packaged. Like, hello, this is not arriving broken, so I appreciate that. And the total that I paid was $74.70, so this is very expensive and I'm gonna be pretty harsh, okay? Now, note, I have purchased from Adept before. I'm familiar with their pricing. I'm familiar with their quality. Usually, I say their quality and everything is up to par with the price. We'll see about this one. I always appreciate the packaging. So this is an eyeshadow and pressed pigment palette. The packaging is stunning. And this is a multi-textured palette full of multi-chromes, holographic, shimmers, and pigmented but blendable mattes. It's a vegan palette, does not contain talc, glitter, mica, oil, or BHT. Let me remove like all the plastic so we can get a better look at it. I love the packaging, it's so springy and beautiful. So pretty. I wish I could know which shades are which so I can be like, wow, this is like this shade. Obviously I can tell which ones are the hollows, kind of tell which one is the multi-chrome, give or take, but the other two are kind of hard to decipher, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch everything. So we have Binary Beat, Android Aura, Laser Lights, Voltage Violet, Mechanical Muse, Robo Rose, Pixelated Pulse, Digital Harmony, Cybernetic Spark, Cyber Symphony, Synthetic Soundwave 7.7, Boring Circuits, Robotic Fusion, and 7. Also, a fun detail, the mirror has like this 010000010 like detail, kind of like code almost. I like sci-fi and stuff, but I don't know a lot about like robotic terms. I always love that they have like a very nice high quality mirror in their palettes. This is stunning. I love it. Very springy to me. Like when I open this and I look at it, it gives spring. I love the hollow. I feel like that's really gonna turn this into like cyborgy vibes. I think I'm gonna do two looks today. I have a look in mind. Hopefully we can execute on the eye. Alright, I've primed my eye and I applied some eye tape. The first shade I'm going to take is called 7.7 and I'm going to add this on the outer edge of my eye. Kind of like winging it, but we're letting the tape kind of do all the work. Kind of just building it and kind of slightly blending the edge out. I'm taking a clean blending brush and just going over the edges. What I love about Adept's mattes is that they blend out truly so easily and they look so effortless. And they build so nice. The next shade I want to take is this like bright purple. It's called Robotic Fusion and I'm going to put that right next to this blue. I'm kind of also taking whatever's left on my brush with this shade and kind of going over that blue to kind of add that slightly in. I don't want it to overtake anything. Taking a clean E25 and I want to take this bright yellow shade. It's called 7 and I'm going to take my brush and we're going to add this into this look right in the inner corner. I'm having a hard time with this yellow not kind of showing up the way I want it to. The yellow in here really struggling. It's really struggling. I don't know. What can I do here? I'm going to try to take a pencil brush and see if it applies better with the pencil brush. I'm not loving this color. It is not showing up the way I want it to at all. The amount of work that I had to do just so it can get to this kind of level, I mean, I don't know. I kind of expected more considering this palette is so expensive, so I don't know. I guess we could try like a white base, but that would just be a lot of work for one shade. So I'm kind of just, I guess we'll just let it be the way it is. But if I look up close, it does not look that great. So I feel like I did have to work a lot with it. And that's usually the case with shades that are that bright and like that pastel, and that's usually what happens, but you know, I kind of just expected a little better. I'm gonna take my NYX glitter primer and I'm gonna apply that all over my lid. I do believe Adept recommends using a glitter primer with their shades because they are so like emollient. So I like the next one. It works for me. I'm gonna start with this shade called Pixelated Pulse, and it is a hollow shade, so I'm kind of scared and excited at the same time. And I'm gonna add this towards the end where that dark blue is. Ooh, wow, that is so cool. The hollow shimmer is so pretty. That looks fake on my eye. I'm just gonna take the blending brush with the purple and kind of just blend this in slightly. I think the next shade I want to take is called Mechanical Muse right here. It's just, these hollows are so cool. I want to use them all. And I'm just gonna tap that like right next to that first shade, Pixelated Pulse. This is literally crazy. Whoa. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. And the last shade I want to use before we use that yellow is called Binary Beat. It's another hollow. Are we surprised? This is crazy. Like, I'm not even just... It's just wild to me. Like, it's like I look insane, but it looks so cool. Like, I don't know, this obviously isn't your everyday. If you're looking for an everyday Adept Cosmetics palette, I recommend checking out the Flying Fiddles palette. I will have a link somewhere. But this is just the ultimate party eyeshadow. Like, the lighting, let me see if I turn down the lights, if I turn it off, if you'll be able to like, oh, that is crazy. That is crazy. That is so fun. Now, obviously, if I go anywhere and people are looking at this, they're gonna be like, where did you get that from? I'm sure the compliments that you'll get with the hollows on this palette are crazy. The flash under a phone must be wild. Can we see that? I don't even know what I'm looking at, but can we see this? No yellow I put in the inner corner is gonna like make this look any less. Wow. Consider me won over. I'm gonna take this shade called Cyber Symphony, and it's the yellow shimmer. Whoa, shimmer, the yellow matte in here, not the best. The yellow shimmer though, wow. We'll just make this the yellow inner corner that I wanted, I guess, because I did not get that with that matte, but with the shimmer on the other hand is quite crazy. I did get a lot of fallout with the shade Cyber Symphony, like in the pan as well. It's like a very soft shimmer, so keep that in mind when using it. I hate the matte in here. The yellow matte is not up to par with the rest of this palette, I gotta say, but this shimmer is. I have yellow shimmer all over my face though. I'm gonna go back into that matte purple from the palette, Robotic Fusion, just so we can blend all this together. Really quick, I want to line my eyes with this shade called Boring Circuit. I'm really happy that this is in here actually. So I'm gonna go ahead, pop on some lashes, and I'll be right back and we can do the second eye look. Here's my first look with lashes. I love it. It's beautiful. I love the colors. I love it. It's what I wanted. So I'm gonna prime my eye and we can get started on look number 2. So for this look, I want to start with this shade called Synthetic Soundwave. And I'm taking this on a glam light brush and I'm kind of starting this on the end. This is like a plummy shade. It's very nice. And I'm kind of just dragging whatever's left on my brush all on the crease. Kind of just building this color up to where I like it. I am now going to take this shade called Robotic Fusion. It's the purple in this palette. It's like this springy purple. Kind of really like this color. It's very, very bright, very pretty. It kind of matches this color very nicely. To deepen up this look a little bit, I am going to go into this shade called Boring Circuit. Kind of lightly. That worked wonderfully. I'm taking a clean blending brush and just going over everything and just making sure everything is nicely blended. I'm gonna go into my NYX glitter primer and I'm gonna add that all through the lid. For shimmer, I want to take this shade called Android Aura. It is a hollow. And I'm gonna add this towards the end here with my finger, kind of blending it upwards. The next shade I want to take is called Robo Rose right here with my finger. And we're going to add that right next to that hollow shade. And I think I'm going to add this shade. It's called Digital Harmony. I believe this is the multi-chrome in this palette. I want to add this in the inner corner and mixing it with that like Robo Rose shade. And on my inner corner, I want to take this shade called Laser Lights. It's like this silver in the center. This is a pretty look. I kind of like it. It's really pretty. I'm going to line my lash line with the shade Boring Circuit. I'm going to wipe off my fallout because there's a bit. Shimmer hollow and just regular shimmer and like black eyeshadow and like all of it. All of it everywhere. So far, I really, really like it. The only shade I'm having trouble with is this bright yellow. The rest of it, I love. But I feel like for the price, the yellow should work. So I'm kind of conflicted. Maybe I do need to try it again. Maybe I need to try it with a colored base or white base or something else under it so we can test out the color payoff. I don't know, but I will have to get back to you on that one. I'm going to complete the rest of my makeup and we'll be right back to do the lower lash line and then we can get into my final thoughts. Alright, I'm going to go into the lower lash line. For this eye, I'm going to take the cream gel liner from ColourPop in the shade Exit. So for this eye, I kind of want to follow the same like color scheme. So I'm going to start with the shade called 77 and I'm taking that on a Sigma E42 brush and I'm just going to take that and start packing that on my lower lash line. The next shade I want to take on my lower lash line is called Robotic Fusion right here and I'm going to add that right next to that blue. And the last matte I want to take is called 7. Hopefully it shows up a little better. That would be a no. Just can't get this shade to work for me, honestly. Just got shards of it in my eye though. I'm going to take the shade called Cyber Symphony, which is that shimmer yellow, and I'm going to take a little bit of it and just use that instead again for that yellow that I want. I love it so much. This look is so pretty. I love it so much. Okay. On this eye, I want to take the shade Charmer from the ColourPop Cream Gel Liners. I'm going to take the shade Synthetic Soundwave and use this as my lower lash line color on this eye. Kind of really smoking this out. I want to take this shade called Voltage Violet and add a little bit of this on the lower lash line, kind of like what I did to the yellow on the other eye but with purple. It's very pretty. I like that little detail. I like using the shimmers for that. But yeah, I really enjoy these looks. I'm gonna go ahead and complete the rest of my makeup. And I will be right back so we can talk about my final thoughts on the Cyborg Choir Palette from Adept. So what are my final thoughts on the Adept Cosmetic Cyborg Choir Palette? There are so many different shimmers and textures in this palette. The amount is kind of overwhelming, but this palette is perfect for spring and the theme is very cool, very unique. It reminds me of the Blend Bunny Machina theme. I'm just impressed with the quality of these shadows. The hollows especially. I wanted to of course focus on those today because those are kind of what I bought the palette for. Now, considering this is basically an $80 palette if you don't have a coupon code, which you're always gonna have a coupon code. It's just what level that coupon code saves you can vary. I think this is so expensive, okay? I know Adept is expensive, but right now it's a tough time to be spending that kind of money on a palette. If you have the money for this palette, if you can spend that money and justify the price, this is an incredible eyeshadow palette. The shimmers have this like almost creamy texture to them. They feel kind of wet on the eyes. This palette apparently has no glitter in it. There's no talc, there's no mica. So I don't know how they formulate their shadows to be this incredible, but the only shade I did have an issue with is this bright pastel neon-y yellow. It didn't work for me. I couldn't get it to work for me no matter what I did. Maybe if you use like a sticky tacky base, you can get this shade to work for you, and I feel like for the price of this palette, this shade should work. You only have 5 mattes. If one of the 5 mattes is not working, that's a problem. So that's like my only critique on the palette. I feel like you have to go into these shades with a light hand. I kind of jammed my brush into Cyber Symphony and I kind of dented it a little, so you really only need like a light hand with these shimmers. These shimmers are all so unique, they're all so different, they shift all so beautifully, and I really enjoyed the hollows. I feel like if you're buying this palette, it's probably because of the hollow shades, and they're very out there. I will say, like, I feel like wearing this out, you're gonna get a lot of attention, a lot of compliments on it because of those hollow shades, that they're just so freaking cool. Do I think this palette is worth it? Yes, I do think this palette is worth it. I think the formula is incredible. You do have that issue with the one shade. Besides that, I still find the palette to be absolutely incredible. The shades all performed very nicely aside from that yellow, and I really love just the hollow shimmers of it all. They're just so cool. I really love the way this look came out. It came out just like this good in my head as well. So again, if you have the money, if you can justify spending that kind of money on a palette, I say go for it. It is beautiful. If you are struggling and you cannot afford this palette, it is not the end of the world. I feel like Adept's formulas are just gonna continue to get better and better and better. So I don't think this is the last palette where we will ever see the hollows in it. This palette is not limited edition. You can pick this up whenever. I would recommend waiting for a sale. Adept does sales every once in a blue moon, so keep your eye out, sign up for their email list, and yeah, that's basically my thoughts on it. I really enjoyed it. I was waiting to get this palette in so I can make a Adept Cosmetics palette bingo, and I'm kind of really excited for that. So yeah, I hope you guys found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I would love to hear from you. Are you interested in this palette? Are you picking this palette up? Let me know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. I should have pulled the information up before, but you know me, always doing it after. This is the Cyborg Choir. Everyone's getting their videos up, and that makes me not want to post it. It makes me want to wait a little because, like, I hate when creators are posting the same video. Low-key. Okay. I can't wait to swatch this out to sort of help blending that out. Camera needs to adjust. I am gonna go in with boring But shut the fuck up. Can you scream in your house, please? A sticky tacky